Hey everyone, it's Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys a long-awaited music collection update video. I think it's been a while since I did one. The last one was about a little over 3 months ago. I bought a lot of stuff since then. I have like 2 stacks of CDs right here, and I have like a stack of vinyl right here. So I'm not going to comment on much, so without further ado, let's just get started. I'll just start with this pile right here first. First CD I want to talk about is an artist. Well, it's kind of different than what I would normally listen to, but I actually like her music, and I'm talking about Abby Kay. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Abby Kay, she's a singer and bass player. Well, she was originally from Charlotte, North Carolina, but now she lives up in Nashville, Tennessee. And this is actually a CD which has like a compilation of 6 of her like singles and stuff. As you can see, she also signed it right here. Because really she never really had an album. She only has like songs that were released that were on Spotify. But yeah, this is actually a little good thing to have if anybody's like want to get hands on this. Just check her out. She's pretty good. She's just kind of like just hard rock a little bit, kind of different from what I was listening to, but it's pretty good. Next up, is another new 2024 release. I'm talking about Godless Rain from Ammonia. This is their second EP in their first follow-up to their first EP. I forget what Godless Wept, which came out a few months ago, and the second one they released this year, which is kind of nuts. And this is, I guess, a little supergroup which has former members of Chelsea Grin, who are the deathcore band from Utah, which is also where the band Ammonia is from, which has, of course, the 4 members: Alex Kohler on vocals, Pablo Viveros Jr. on drums, and Jay Grin on guitar. So both of them come up with this is a really great EP. It's just fucking heavy right here. Right, good stuff right here. A little digipack. I think it was limited. This is actually limited, so I can't remember how many it was limited to, but let me know in the comments. But anyway, moving on to the next 4 CDs I want to talk about is from a classic death metal band. I'm talking about the band Asphyx from the Netherlands. Been around since the late 80s, early 90s. I have 4 of their albums right here. First off, we have The Rack. And some of these are actually reissues that Century Media put out in like 06 or something. Like this one is. They have the Crush the Cenotaph EP. On the Wings of Inferno. And God Cries. Yep, I don't think I need to say much Asphyx. I'm pretty sure some people have probably heard of them. Anyway, then moving on to the next 3 CDs are from the same band, another classic death metal band, and I'm talking about the band Benediction from the UK. Been around since the early 90s or late 80s. Have their first 3 albums. First off being Subconscious Terror, and this is a reissue, I believe, that came out in 2022 that Black on Black put out, and this is when they had Barney Greenway from Napalm Death singing, and then of course I think they changed singers, and then they got Dave Ingram, their current singer, and then we have The Grand Leveler and Transcend the Rubicon. Anyway, next 2 albums are from I got it from the band Benighted. If you're unfamiliar with Benighted, they're a death metal band from France. Been around since the late 90s. I got 2 of their albums. First off being their album Identisic. And then their new album that came out this year, Ekbom, which, this album is just fucking sick. Has some really great songs. I also like Nothing Left to Fear featuring Ollie from Archspire, and their artist Xavier from Blockheads on Fame of the Grotesque. This is just some really sick death metal. If you haven't heard of Benighted, check them out. Next up, I got Celtic Frost, Into the Pandemonium. I can't remember. This is a reissue that BMG put out in 2017, I think. But I can't remember what year this came out. But it's a really great. It sort of comes in this little digibook kind of thing with sort of like liner notes and stuff. Pretty good. Check it out. And another new 2024 album is one of my favorite albums so far this year. New Dark Tranquillity album, End Time Singles. or End Time Signals, but I keep fucking it up for some reason. And I don't think I need to say much about Dark Tranquillity. They're one of my favorite bands, part of the whole Gothenburg death metal scene from Sweden. They've been around since 1989. Yeah, and as you can see, I got this album signed from when they were headlining day 2 of Prog Power, where this past week. It was fucking great. So yeah, I think Dark Tranquillity could do no wrong. They just get better and better with every album. Next up, as a classic album, I don't think I need to introduce this band, and that'd be Darkthrone, Under a Funeral Moon. I just got this just randomly. I was at Criminal Records down in Little Five Points. I actually just saw this and I was like, why have I not had this? I have like a bunch of other Darkthrone albums. I know they have a new one that came out recently, but I just haven't got that yet. But I saw this one, I was like, yeah, I definitely need this in my collection. Next one I want to showcase is a long-awaited album and one of my favorite bands, and they're currently on tour in the US, and I really wish they were coming closer. I'm talking about the new Dead by April album, The Affliction, which is basically most of these songs we've already heard already. They've been released over the years as just standalone singles on Spotify and stuff, but now it's just released as an album, which I kind of think is annoying. It's a little digipack in here. I kind of hate that there's not like a booklet in here with like the lyrics and everything. That's just my one gripe, but it's solid, and I definitely would like to see them live eventually. I'm hoping they do another leg here, or they come to Atlanta. I could see them play like Masquerade or something. Moving on, another classic I also saw. I actually got this at my local used CD store, CD Warehouse over in Marietta. That'd be Dissection with The Somberlane. I think if you aren't familiar with Dissection, classic like melodic kind of like black metal from Sweden. Just this album is just sick. I just needed this in my collection. Moving on to a classic album, I'm talking about the band Finntroll with their album Midnattens Vidunder. This is their debut album, which came out in 1999. If you aren't familiar with Finntroll, they're sort of a folk metal band from Finland. The weirdest thing is, like, they're Finnish, but all their songs are in Swedish, which is just weird. I thought they would sing in Finnish, but they're a really great band. I'm looking forward to finally seeing them in January when I'm going back to the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise, which of course I have my cabin pretty much paid off as of today. So if any subscribers of mine that are going, I hope to see you all there. Anyway, moving on to another band I'm looking forward to seeing in 2 weeks, and that'd be another new 2024 release. I'm talking about Opera by Fleshgod Apocalypse. This is a really good album, follow-up to their 2019 album Veleno. As you can see, I pre-ordered this and it came signed by the band. And they're really great. Of course, I was used to having like their old bass player, Paolo Rossi, who did the play bass clean vocals, and now Veronica, their opera singer, is handling all the clean vocals, and she did a really good job. And of course, I think this is a really great album. Like, it's just amazing what these guys can do. Anyway, next 2 albums are from the same band, and I just needed to complete their discography. Their most recent 2 albums, I'm talking about the band Hammerfall. If you're unfamiliar with Hammerfall, they're a power metal band from Sweden, been around since the 90s. I got their latest 2 albums being Hammer of Dawn and their new album, Avenge the Fallen. Really great album. I'm really looking forward to seeing them on the boat in January, so that's another one. Next up, I got the new In Heart's Wake album, Incarnation, follow-up to their previous album, which came out in 2020, Caliuga. It's a good album. This is, of course, if you could see it, it's a little cardboard thing similar to the Caliuga artwork. And then this is, of course, if you could see by the artwork, it's a sequel to their first debut album, Divination, which came out in 2012. It has almost kind of like the same like art and everything with the tarot cards. I just like this album. And they're going to be at the Masquerade next month with Miss May I, so I'm going to be going to that. So see you all there. Anyway, next 2 albums. And this was a band I went from having a little bit of their stuff to now starting to build up their discography. I also have another one on the way. Talking about the band Kalma from Finland. Great melodic death metal band. I pretty much describe them as like the band that Children of Bodom should have been. First off, I have their album For the Revolution and 12 Gauge. Yeah, I can't believe I'm also looking forward to finally seeing them in January at the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise. So that's another bucket list band I can knock off. Anyway, next 2 albums are a classic band, and I don't think I need to introduce this band, that'd be the band Misfits, which honestly I don't think I really need to say much about them that hasn't been said already. I got two of their releases, first off being Earth AD and American Psycho. Next up, we have another new album, The Omnific, with their album The Law of Augmenting Returns. If you aren't familiar with The Omnific, they're a instrumental progressive metal band from Australia. They basically have like a drummer and two bass players, and I think, in my opinion, they're definitely one of the most original sounding bands, especially having like two bass players in a metal band, which is unheard of, especially the way they have like harmonize and everything, kind of like similar with like dueling guitars metal but on bass, and they're just very unique sounding, and that's just the one thing I like about The Omnific. And anyway, next two albums are a newer band to the collection. I'm talking about the band Plush. If you're familiar with Plush, they're a rock band. I believe they're from New York. I have two of their releases. They're basically an all-female band, and they're really young. I know one of them was actually like on the show The Voice. First off, I want to showcase is I have their debut album, which is the self-titled, and it just comes in this fucking little cardboard sleeve thing, which is a pain in the ass to get out. And then I have their EP that came out last year, Find the Beautiful. Well, and as you can see, I got signed. I actually ordered it through Pavement Records. Little digipack. I actually like this EP. I actually loved how they did a cover of Hearts Barracuda, which absolutely was awesome. Next two albums I want to talk about are the band Powerwolf, who are pretty much a power metal band from Germany. Been around since the early to mid 2000s. I got two of their albums, their more recent albums I should say. First off being Call of the Wild, and their new album Wake Up the Wicked. It was great to finally see them last week, and it was just amazing. Anyway, just gotta straighten this out. Now we're on to the next pile of CDs right here. First off being, I got the new Rotting Christ, their album Pro Christu. It's just Rotting Christ. Been around for a long ass time. This is a cool little shiny digipack right here. And I don't think I could do no wrong. I just think they're one of my favorite black metal bands. But moving on to the band. Next thing I want to talk about is the band Samael. I have two of their albums. First off, I have their album Worship Him. Yeah, just some really sick. I believe they're from Switzerland. They've been around since the late 80s, early 90s. I have one of their albums being Above. Next album I want to talk about is another new 2024 release, and I'm talking about the new Seven Spires album entitled A Fortress Called Home. This is a really good album. I think it's a great follow-up to Gods of Debauchery. Like, Adrian and the boys definitely could do no wrong. I just think they're one of the best like symphonic metal bands going right now, and I think Adrian Cohen, in my opinion, she's one of the best vocalists, killing it in metal, and this is actually a really great album. So check this out if you haven't got a chance, if you really like symphonic metal. Anyway, next three albums are from the same band. I'm talking is about Sonata Arctica, power metal band from Finland. Been around since the late 90s, early 2000s. First one I want to talk about is their debut album, Silence, Ecliptica, and Winterheart's Guild. Yeah, definitely really looking forward to seeing them on the boat in January. Haven't seen them since they did that tour with Camelot and Battle Beast in 2019, so it'll be great to see them. And I know they're also headlining day 2 of Prog Power in Atlanta next year, so I might go to that. So, you know, that'll be great. I'll just put these right here. Anyway, moving on to the next band I want to talk about is the band Tankard. I pretty much have like all the albums I need to complete their discography. Looking forward to finally seeing them on the boat in January, as well as seeing them at Maryland Death Fest next year. So I'll get to see Tankard 3 times next year. So first off, we have Disco Destroyer, B-Day, Beast of Bourbon, Thirst, Volume 14, Pavlog, no wait, Rib. I got some of these are out of order. And then their last album, Pavlov's Dog. So yeah, very underrated band. Been around for over 40 years and they're still kicking it. Anyway, wait, we're getting through almost done with the CDs. First off, they're not really around anymore. I had a coworker, now fucking piece of shit. Should be grateful that I even vouch for him to be here at all. They're talking about the band Thundershield. I don't think they're around anymore. This is actually a limited copies. This is limited to 500 copies. I got number 209, and fuck this dude. But anyway, hey, this is a kind of a solid band. And their singer kind of reminds me a little bit of like Hansi Kirch from Blind Guardian. So in a way, it kind of sounds like Blind Guardian a little bit. Anyway, moving on to another new album. Talking about the new Vulvodynia album entitled "The Entabene." If you aren't familiar with Vulvodynia, they're sort of like a death metal kind of slam band from South Africa. I've been around since 2014. It's actually a really good album. The first album where they had a new vocalist. Wandele, their previous guitarist, took now over lead vocals, and he's actually a really great vocalist. He definitely does a great job. But this, I think this is just insane. Anyway, next up I got a new band to the collection. I'm talking about the band The Warning. If you aren't familiar with The Warning, they're a rock band from Mexico. Been around since 2013, and they're basically, it's like three sisters. They pretty much got big from they cover of Enter Sandman by Metallica, and I know like Kirk Hammett actually saw it was great, and since then they got really popular. I have like all four of their releases. First off, we have their debut album, Century Blood. Queen of the Murder Scene. Error. As you can see, this is signed by the band. And their new one that came out this year, Keep Me Fed. They're a really great band. And I'm definitely would like to actually see them live, not gonna lie. Anyway, moving on to one of my most anticipated albums here in 2024. I'm really looking forward to finally having this in my collection. I can't believe I'm actually holding it in my hands. So, yep. Time 2 by Wintersun. Wow, this was worth the wait. I wouldn't be lying if I was just mind blown when I first heard this album. It was just, wow. I can't believe after 12 years we finally had Time 2. It was hinted for over a decade, and now we finally have it. It's just really great album. I don't think I need to say much more about it. Anyway, moving on to next band I want to talk about is the band The Zabellian Triangle. If you're not familiar with the Zabellian Triangle, they're sort of a kind of like a symphonic, kind of like death metal kind of band from Texas. I have one album they have called At the Banks of the Rubicon. I got this because they were playing at the Star Bar in Atlanta a few months ago. It's a little digibook kind of thing. It's pretty solid. I actually like it. Anyway, then last two CDs I want to showcase is the band The Zenith Passage. If you're familiar with The Zenith Passage, they're sort of like a technical kind of death metal band from, I believe they're from LA. I got two of their releases. First off being a Solo Piscistic. I probably butchered that, but it's right here. And Cosmic Dissonance. And I know they have like a new one that came out, so I still definitely need to pick that one up. Alright, that's it for the CDs. Now on to the vinyls. We'll showcase three vinyls I have right here from one of my favorite bands. I'm talking about the band Amorphis from Finland. Been around since the early 90s. First off, this is a reissue that Relapse put out in 2018. Their debut album, The Carillion Ismuth. As you can see, I got this signed by the band from when I saw them headline day 3 of Prog Power. And this vinyl is actually this cool looking one right here. It's just orgasmic is the way I should describe it. Just need to get this back in here. And I have another one of their albums, Elegy. It's a gatefold right here with the lyrics. And this is actually a 2 LP, and I think it's just a simple black, so I don't really need to showcase that. And I have their 2018 album, Queen of Time. The gatefold, again, with the pictures of the band. Yeah, this vinyl itself, this is a kind of like a light blue kind of marble vinyl. It's just really amazing. Like, I just like collecting vinyls, just especially with some of the colors and stuff. It's just great. Anyway, moving on, I have next band is Benediction with their album Carnival War Sublime, which I'm looking forward to. They're actually one of their sets at 70,000 Tons of Metal next year. They're going to be playing this album in full, so I'm looking forward to that. And I think this is limited to, I forget, 300 or got number 199. And this vinyl, it's a red with black splatter, which is amazing. Anyway, just put that right in here. Anyway, next 3 albums are from the same band. I'm talking about the band that needs no introduction. One of my favorite bands and favorite black metal bands, that'd be the band Dark Funeral from Sweden. Been around since the early 90s. I have their debut album, The Secret of the Black Arts. This is a reissue, I believe, Back on Black put out in 2010, I believe. And it's a 2 LP. Here's a gatefold with the lyrics and the band members at the time. I think the vinyl itself, this one is just a simple black. And I have another album of theirs, Diabolus Interium. Another gatefold with the band members and the lyrics. And I believe this one might be colored right here. I'll just put, it's this clear vinyl. And then I got their Where Shadows Forever Reign, one of my favorite albums from 2016. It actually comes as a gatefold right here, and the vinyl itself is this kind of like clear blue, black and blue splatter. Okay, put that back in there. Anyway, next vinyl I want to showcase. I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for this, but I actually like this album per se. It's kind of like weird, but I'm talking about Homesick by A Day to Remember. Yep, give me shit all you want, but I actually like some A Day to Remember. This is a reissue, I believe, that came out in 2024. This is actually a 15-year anniversary issue. It's kind of the glossy thing, picture of the band members and the lyrics right here. I think the vinyl itself is just a simple black. Just put this back in. Come on. Sometimes putting vinyls back in the sleeves are a pain in the ass. Next up, I got the latest Decapitated album, Cancer Culture. Loving this. Looking forward to seeing them at 70,000 Tons next year. They're going to be, one of their sets are going to be playing this album in full, and they're also playing Nihility, which I'm looking forward to. It's a gatefold right here. It's just a bunch of nothingness. This and this vinyl itself is a clear kind of black splatter. Here, anyway, put this back in. Anyway, next up is another one of my favorite albums from 2024. I showcased the CD of this, but I also got it on vinyl. That'd be Opera by Fleshgod Apocalypse. Pre-ordered this, and I got the signed by the band. And this is one of the vinyl variants I had. As soon as I saw it, I was like, shit, I need to get this. And this vinyl itself is this cool Italian flag variant, which is just amazing. I'm really looking forward to seeing them in 2 weeks. I'm going to be going up to see them up in not Nashville, Charlotte, North Carolina. So if any North Carolina subscribers that are watching this, I hope to see you all there. Anyway, moving on to another 2024 release, new In Heart's Wake album, Incarnation. Showcase the CD of this. And the vinyl right here is this kind of purpley marble vinyl. I think this was limited to 800 copies. Anyway, stick this back in there. Anyway, moving on to next two albums are from the same band, and I'm looking forward to. And they're playing both of these albums. One set, each set they're playing both of these albums in full. I'm talking about the band Kelma. The first song is their album They Will Return. I love this. This is a reissue, I believe, that Night of the Vinyl Dead or Spike Farm Records put out. This is limited to 400 copies, and I have number 32. This is a good album. Love songs like Swamp Hell, They Will Return, and they did a cover of Megadeth's Skin on My Teeth. This vinyl, it's a Civil Black. And then I have another one of their albums, Swamp Song, and this was limited to 400 copies. I got number 73 right here. And this vinyl is another black vinyl. Wait, moving on. I got the same thing with the other two stuff I had on CD. I got the two vinyls of the band Plush from New York. I have their self-titled album. I actually got this from a bid on eBay, or got cheap, and as you can see, it came signed by the band. And this vinyl is a purple vinyl. Just put this back in here. And then I have their Find the Beautiful EP on vinyl right here. Just came in a simple black. Put this back in. And then the last vinyl to showcase, I have Time 2 by Winter Sun. As soon as of course I got it on CD, but I also really wanted it on vinyl. And this was limited, I forget how many copies this was limited to. I heard it was like 850 or something. And this came in this clear, kind of like cool little splatter. Yeah, and this is definitely, even sounds great on vinyl as it does on CD. So that's pretty much my music collection update for you guys. Let me know if there's anything in there that you find great. And also gonna be some upcoming shows. In about a couple weeks, I'm gonna be going to Lorna Shore in Whitechapel, but the Tabernacle on the 25th, so see you all there. And then the 27th, I'll be up at the Underground in Charlotte, North Carolina for Flesh God Apocalypse, Shadow of Intent, Ingested, and Zenith Passage. And there was a fifth band I can't remember, but if any subscribers are from the Charlotte area that are going, I would love to say hi to you guys. I might do a vlog, so if you want to be in it, just let me know. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for subscribing, and as always, keep it metal.